Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about my breastfeeding journey as promised, some essentials that I think every breastfeeding mom needs, as well as some complications that I dealt with during this go around of breastfeeding. So today I decided to kind of film outdoors because I like the fresh air, so you're going to hear probably a lot of wind, as well as probably the occasional car passing by. So I'm not going to waste much time. We're just going to jump right into the topic. So, the first topic that I want to discuss is basically like my personal journey, how I breastfeed, what method of breastfeeding do I, take, I guess. Different moms do different types of breastfeeding. I am a stay at home mom, so I do nurse on demand most of the time. I know that's not really something a lot of moms like to do, but I personally enjoy the bonding experience, and I believe that he more so prefers to nurse. I've introduced bottles, and he's not really interested in the bottle. Now that he's a little bit older, he will take a cup, but for the most part, since I'm with him most of the time, we nurse on demand. I do pump on occasion if I'm going out or if I just feel like I just want to build a small stash because I don't have too much of a stash. I didn't have much of a stash with my daughter either because, again, I nurse on demand. I will pump as needed. This is just what works for me. I personally feel that whatever works for you in your situation, by all means, do it. As far as weaning, I'm going to allow him to wean when he is ready. I don't plan on forcing him to stop nursing. I don't plan on stopping until, just we both just naturally gravitate away from nursing as he gets older. Now, as far as complications that I encountered, one thing that I did deal with very, very early postpartum was mastitis. I don't think it was that severe of a case. It was kind of mild, and I think it came from a clogged duct. Mastitis is basically an infection. It's not a dangerous infection. Like, you can still breastfeed with it and everything. In fact, it's encouraged to keep breastfeeding when you have mastitis. But basically, I believe I was approaching the early stages of it. So I did nip it in the bud before things got too bad. You can kind of tell you are getting an infection if you have a clogged duct, right? And it feels really hot to the touch, and you either get a fever or you get like aches, or you just don't feel well. Like, you start to feel kind of like under the weather. So how I remedied the issue was that I did a lot of hot compresses to the area that was clogged. And then I had a Hacka pump, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I would put the Hacka pump on the side that had the clogged infected duct, and I would do warm compresses and kind of just massage that area, and you could kind of see the milk, just like the blockage, like the backage of the milk, you would see it just come out into the Hacka pump. I would get in the shower, and I would also massage the affected area pretty much. And then I continue nursing. Like I said, it's encouraged to keep nursing when you have that, to kind of remove that blockage. It's completely safe for baby. Again, just try to keep that side empty, which is what I did. And then probably within a few hours, I started to feel better. Another complication that I dealt with as he got a little bit older in his infancy was a torn nipple. As he started to get older, he started to get distracted from his environment. Things would excite him, so he would nurse, right? And then he would like turn his head, but my nipple would still be in his mouth. And so after doing that, right, I started to kind of tear. And it is very painful. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, it hurts like really bad. It's just what comes with the territory. Again, me personally, I was very determined to continue nursing. A lot of moms will stop nursing once they get a tear in the nipple, but I'm just like, you know, and I have a pretty high pain tolerance. So, it was uncomfortable, but, I toughed it out. How I fixed my torn nipple was I would take my own breast milk, express it, and then just put it on the tear, and then I would let it air dry. That helps. That does wonders for like scabs and tears. Just your own breast milk. I also got some nipple cream, so I would keep the area like just lubricated at all times. so it wouldn't dry out and like stick to my shirt. And then I would also air out. So I would walk around topless a lot of the time, just letting that area breathe and letting it heal. Again, like his latch would become a little shallow and he would like tear and kind of move around. So when he latched, I would make sure he would latch as deeply as possible. And so when he showed signs that he was kind of done eating with like slowing down and just like kind of like just his sucking would become a little bit more gentle, I would just unlatch him right away because spending extended time on my breast while it was torn was just not a good idea. What I also did was I pumped. So I would pump that side to give it a break because, again, if I kept it lubricated, the pump was a lot more gentle than him at that time. And then he was teething. So, again, trying to just keep milk flowing through that side without him nursing was just through pumping, and that would keep me from lowering my supply. The next thing that I want to cover is some must-haves, some things that I personally used, that really helped me on my breastfeeding journey. So the first thing that any mom would tell you to get is a pump. Your insurance usually covers them for free. I have the Spectra pump. I really like that pump. And again, like, you cannot expect to build your stash without a pump. So definitely invest in a pump or go through your insurance and make sure that they cover pumps, and they'll just mail it right to you for free. So along with using the electric pump, you need to get milk storage bags. I personally use the Medela milk storage bags. Any storage bag will do. They also have reusable silicone storage bags. You can use a glass jar if I'm not mistaken, but I personally use the bags, or I actually do use like little silicone storage bags. A hand pump, right? A hand pump I still recommend people get. Even though you have an electric pump, I feel that just like if you're on the go or you just need to pump real quick, right, and you don't need to set everything up, get yourself one of those hand pumps, and that'll be so helpful. The Haka pump, it's a silicone pump. I recommend every mom try that as well. Not only is it good for catching the excess milk when you nurse, because you do leak from the other side when the letdown starts to happen, but it keeps you from wasting milk. And you can also fill it with hot water and Epsom salt to kind of soothe any irritation or like clogged milk ducts, right? So again, I recommend any mom get the Haka pump. Like, you won't regret it. And I think they have different types of Haka pumps, but I have the standard one. I mentioned earlier is another must-have, which is nipple cream. You need to keep your nipples lubricated. You need to make sure that you keep them protected, right? You don't want them to dry out and become uncomfortable and cracked, because that can lead to torn nipples as well. So they have different kinds. I use the Earth Mama nipple butter, so find whatever works for you and keep that on hand, especially once you start breastfeeding. So I recommend you use this item if you have recurrent clogged milk ducts. I personally did not need it this time around because clogged ducts, even though I dealt with it like once or twice, it wasn't something that I truly needed to fully address because massages worked for me. But sunflower lecithin is something that works really well for clogged milk ducts. Nursing pads, right? Nursing pads is something that you will need because, again, if you're out on the go and you just decide to leak, you don't want to leak through your shirt, you don't want to leak through your clothes. It's not fun, it's not cute, right? So I use the bamboo, the reusable ones that you wash and that you just use over and over again. I don't like the disposable ones, and I think it's just better environmentally to just use the reusable ones. A nursing bra, a couple nursing bras, actually, a few nursing bras, because I think it just goes without saying, just there for nursing. You can pop your boob out, pop it back in. And the last item that I still use faithfully, I just had some actually today, is mother's milk tea. It is full of herbs and just things that are good for you, and it increases milk production and keeps your milk production stable. I like to drink a lot of tea, and when you're nursing, there's a lot of teas that you can't drink. I think the only other tea that I'm able or feel comfortable drinking while nursing is raspberry leaf tea, but I don't really drink that often. I, on a daily basis, drink the mother's milk tea. because again, it's good for your nursing, it's good for your breast milk, it's good for your body. It's just good. Okay, so get you some mother's milk tea and keep that on hand and drink that as often as possible to keep your milk supply up. I did try these nursing bars. They're called milk bars, booby bars. I got them from Target, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think a box of like 6 costed me like $17. They cost a lot of money, and while they do work, I just don't think it's necessary to spend that much money on some nursing bars when you have, again, mother's milk tea, oatmeal, different things you can eat and intake to increase your milk supply as well as staying hydrated, right? So you don't need to spend all that money on those lactation snacks. If you are expecting and you are planning to breastfeed, just, at the beginning, you can expect some soreness, right? It takes a while for your nipples to kind of get accustomed to all of that nursing. So, again, there are going to be some setbacks that you deal with breastfeeding. But I don't want that to stop you from your journey. I don't want that to become too much for you to deal with. The benefits outweigh the setbacks. Go ahead and continue to try to nurse to the best of your ability. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. Try not to shame yourself if breastfeeding just did not work for you this time around, okay? Fed is best. Fed baby is best. I have formula fed a baby. He is smart, healthy. He's finna be 11 this year. I formula fed him. I did nurse him as well, but he was mostly formula fed and he's healthy. He's great. And then I breastfed my other two. Me personally, I just prefer to breastfeed because I'm more educated on it. I am more experienced in it now. So if I do decide to have more kids, which I probably won't, I will be breastfeeding here on out. Another thing to keep note of is that some moms don't respond to pumps. Like, you can try to pump and not get that much milk out. That doesn't mean that the baby isn't getting enough milk either. The baby is the most efficient way to get milk from your breast. They get way more milk out than a pump ever could. So if you're nursing, especially if you're early on postpartum and you're not getting that much milk, that is okay. That is normal. Just keep going. And just try to just do your best. At the end of the day, the name of the game is to just do your best and make sure that baby is gaining weight, baby is wetting enough diapers, and I think you'll do just fine. You could also try different pumps out too. I think insurance only allows you to get one pump, but sometimes you may not respond to a certain pump or a certain flange size. So make sure the flange size of the pump is, fitted to your breast as well. So that concludes this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. If you have any ideas on what you want me to upload next, comment those down below as well. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.